Last night before I was going to bed, I was thinking about the solar eclipse that's happening today, and I couldn't help but wonder what it felt like for our ancestors, for those that were ancient stewards of the land. I'm currently staying in Asheville, North Carolina for the month of August, and while I won't be here for the visibility of the solar eclipse, I do intend on being here for the lunar eclipse, which will be visible at the end of the month. And I was looking at the mountains. I sleep parallel to the Blue Ridge Parkway. I tapped into what it must have been like, especially before there was any kind of technology or communication for them to share patterns and what was happening. What was it like for the OG ones that one day in the middle of the afternoon, while they were tending to the land, when they were communing with their tribe, they felt the sky go stagnant. They felt the trees move into stillness, the birds quiet, the air thin out, the clouds part. And there was this eerie sense, this ominous feeling. And they didn't know what was happening. They didn't know what was going on. They didn't know if the earth as they knew it, their land, was closing up on them, if the sky was literally going to fall. And then suddenly their sun, their life force, their source of light and nourishment and renewal was taken away, was eaten up, was absorbed. And all of a sudden it went from light to darkness, blackness. And I can only imagine in those moments that they felt this notion of death, of dying, of everything collapsing. And so what did they do in those moments? Did they surrender to it? Did they panic? Did they go into a state of silence? Did they know that everything was going to be okay? Probably all of those things. And so they truly were witnessing death in the sky. And then after a few minutes, the sun came back around and the light absorbed the dark. And they could see again. And it felt like everything was back to normal, but it wasn't. You don't go back to normal after a near-death experience. You don't do business as usual once everything that you thought you knew almost got taken from you. And so a solar eclipse, I would imagine to them, was a reset, was a new timeline, was looking at life with more gratitude, more appreciation, and realizing that maybe there were some changes that they needed to make. And so then when we take that to our world and our current life and our way of being, the eclipses are literally the same thing. We say, oh, eclipses are death and rebirth, but let's really look at the context of where that came from. The sun literally withdraws off its regular schedule and dies. And then it comes back around again, because everything always comes back around again. We have died so many deaths within this life, and you know it, because you've lived many different chapters, many different experiences, and you will continue to do so. So on a day like today, with the solar eclipse, with it happening in Leo, I really feel like this is the death of feeling like you have to keep up with a world that you don't even know if you want to keep participating in. And so I see the other side of this as us being more in authority, more in truth, more unstoppable, more confident, because an eclipse will make you literally feel the energetics of death and then come out the other side. And that is super, super powerful. So just lean into that, the simple nature of how eclipses work and what they're here to remind us of in the most beautiful way. Keep going. You got this.